I'm Governor Kathleen Sebelius, and here at the Union at the University of Kansas, the championship Jayhawks, to help kick off the 6-month Vote for Change effort that we're going to be engaged in here in Kansas to register and turn out a record number of voters for Senator Barack Obama for president and our great Democratic candidates up and down the ballot. Well, what we've seen already across the country, and we certainly saw it here in Kansas at our caucuses on Super Tuesday, were people who have never been engaged or involved in the process who wanted to participate. So we had folks changing to be registered as Democrats, people coming out for their first time ever caucus and bringing their children and their grandchildren. They felt that this was an historic moment that they didn't want to miss. We want to make sure that energy and enthusiasm remains throughout the course of the campaign. We in Kansas have almost 1 million potentially eligible voters who are either not registered or don't show up to vote. So we know that it can make a huge difference. It can make a huge difference in terms of Kansas voting for a Democratic president. It can make a huge difference with our legislative candidates. Every single one of them is on the ballot this year. For our 2 wonderful Democratic members of Congress, to make sure they are reelected and can support a new Democratic president. So I'm going to be spending a lot of time and energy making sure here in Kansas we reach out and tap into that potential of registering as many voters as possible and then making sure they show up and vote in November. Well, I don't think there's any question that, at least in my lifetime, I have never seen a more inspirational and transformational leader than Barack Obama. He has tapped into a spirit in America that we see as people show up to have their voices heard in primaries and caucuses. It's West Coast and East Coast, large states and small states. Here in the heartland, we see that resonating. So the ability to call upon Americans to be the country we can be once again, to bring us together and to demand that Washington work in a different fashion, look out for the interests of Americans once again, to end a war that we shouldn't have started in the first place, to direct our energies toward terrorist operations in appropriate countries, and to make sure that we have more allies and fewer enemies in the future than we have right now. We need a dramatic change as a president, and there's no question that Barack Obama's message of change is tapping into the hearts and souls of America, and we need to just make sure that more people are able to hear that message and more people have their voices heard in the process, not just the special interests, not just the moneyed interests, but the voices of America.